This is a video response to a YouTube video that was given to me by Facebook Keith Williams. Keith Williams contacted me earlier today. What's today's date? It's either, I think today's the 6th or the 7th of May. There's a video, I think it's the 7th. There's a video that went up yesterday, May 6th, by Blacklight Spirit. Not a big YouTuber. And a lot of times the guys who are not big are the best. This is no exception. I'll get into that. But Keith Williams sent me this video. I watched it twice. It's called Angel Numerology, the Astrology Pyramids, Decoded by Blacklight Spirit on YouTube. Watch this video. So Keith Williams and also the person who made this video both asked for video responses. So based on that, and based on that this type of content is right up my alley, I decided to make a response. Blacklight, I'm going to call you Blacklight Spirit, which is the name of your YouTube, because I don't know your name, and I don't mean any disrespect. Let me say this first of all. You don't know me, I don't know you, but we do. All right? I'm occult. I've been into spirituality and knowledge, research, alchemy for at least 20 years or more. Seriously, for 20 years. All right? A lot of times when people make a reaction video with this type of thing, it's to argue. It's to debate. It's to say, this is why you're wrong, and I'm supreme, and I'm better than you. And basically what they're saying is, I want people to follow me and not follow you, because I have a business, and this is about whoever can have supremacy can make the most money and get the most followers. All right? My response is not that. This is not that. This is adding to the conversation. This is out of respect. This is, I was impressed by your video. This is, you're on to something. This is, I don't want a following. I don't want anybody to follow me. I don't sell anything. Okay? I don't care about followers. I don't want followers. I take my content, whether it be an album, a video, a book, I make it and I give it away for free. So I don't care about losing followers. I don't have a lot of followers. I don't want followers. My shit don't get a lot of views. I don't want it to, because if it did, it would probably be garbage, right? The biggest restaurant on earth is McDonald's, and it's trash, right? So my name is Akult, A-K-U-L-T. Always keep universal language techniques. I was impressed by your video. I want to respond to it. Okay? And there's nothing that I've seen in your video that I disagree with. And I wanted you to know that there's people out here that are dealing with the information that you deal with, and dealing with it in depth, on a grand scale, and not only the information that you touched on, but the peripheral information that goes off left and right that all ties into this, right? And I've been making videos over the last few weeks to start to get this information and knowledge out to the public. I've been, like I said, I've been into this for decades. On and off, I put out content, and then Friday the 13th of March is when I got a message from a higher power that I'm supposed to do it full time and I'm supposed to do it seriously. And so that's what I've been doing. What I realized in your video is that not only was it the date that I was told to kick into high gear, Friday the 13th, and I saw 2 shooting stars at that time, but it was the date that they declared COVID a national emergency, according to your video, which I found interesting. So first thing I want to do, and this is not as a substitute for watching your video, I suggest everybody watch this video. Again, Blacklight Spirit is the channel on YouTube. I don't know this guy. Angel Numerology, the Astrology Pyramids, Decoded. All right. I'm just impressed. This is This is right up my alley. This is my line of work. Correction, our line of work. This is not an argument rebuttal. This is me joining the conversation, and a lot of the stuff that you touched on is just right on point. And I was impressed, and I wanted to reach out to you and not only say good job and give you encouragement, but add to the conversation. So that's what I hope to do now. So as you can see, this is this guy's video I have here on my laptop. I'll just try to go full screen with it if I can. Okay. He makes an interplay and an interconnection, and I'm going to scroll through it fast. Like it's 45 minutes, 43 minutes. I'm not going to obviously play the whole thing, but I'm going to scroll through it, touch on some of the main points that stick out. Now, he makes an interplay between the wheel of reincarnation, which is the zodiac wheel, which is the wheel that we reincarnate under, the year 2020, which we're in now, and the date of 8/22, a prophetic message. He ties in Kobe Bryant, Corona, right? And he makes it all fit. Okay? The star clock, he calls it. Great explanation. I call it a dream catcher. He ties it in with the pyramids, right?
Okay, so
this is the guy here.
So what I want you guys to understand here is what 2020 is in symbolism once you decode it, okay?
What 2020 is in symbolism.
2020 vision is what
2020 vision, right?
Okay, we're finna see a lot of things right now.
Christ consciousness is crystal. See how he has the crystal part here? He's correct. He's got a lot of good. He's got a lot of the pieces of the puzzle. A lot. I was impressed. I've been talking about crystal, right? I made a video called "The Second Exodus," where I broke down. Why is it unpaused by itself? I broke down how we're pieces of coal that are going to turn into, through pressure, we're going to turn into a diamond, which is the crystalline structure, right? Which is Christ consciousness. I made a video called The Second Exodus and then I made another Second Exodus called Second Exodus Ancient Concepts Revisited. The first one was based on the Bible, and the second one was based on the older books that are used to make the Bible, in case you don't like the Bible. The concept is that there's two full eclipses that are going to go over the United States. One already happened, and it goes from the west to the east across. And one is going to happen that goes from, west to east. The first one was east to west, and it makes an X. The place that it makes an X is called Carbondale, Illinois, right? Dale, of course, carbon means melanin. Dale is a valley. What valley? The valley with the X in it, the crossbones, skull and bones. That's why if you look right in that area, there's Cairo, there's Mississippi, where there's Tennessee, there's Memphis, Tennessee, which is Egyptian names. The Mississippi is the Nile of the West, right? Where you have a pyramid there in Memphis, Tennessee, that is 322 feet tall. 322 represents the skull and bones, right? The skull and bones is 322. So when we have the scripture in Ezekiel chapter 13 that talks about the dry bones, the valley of the dry bones, right? This is Carbondale, because Dale means valley, right? And this X marks the spot of the people who are going to wake up and get Christ consciousness. Is the people that were taken in ships into America to be slaves in Egypt again, which is based on Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 68 right? The place that Revelation 11 says will be spiritually Sodom and Egypt, right? This pyramid right here, spiritually Egypt, right? So this Christ consciousness has been predicted in the Bible, but it was based on older texts. A lot of you don't like the Bible because you associate Bible with your enemy, which you think is the white man, and really it's not. It's the ego, your lower self. And a lot of you don't like the Bible because you associate it with Christianity. Christianity is trying to ruin the true Christ, which this guy figured out is a consciousness or a crystalline DNA structure. So when you go from carbon and you upgrade, you go to a crystal. And I break all this down over the course of hours in a lot of my videos. But this is what this guy is touching on.
You know, because that's what it's coming out of burial of. It's coming out of the burial of all these lies.
See, burial. He's not exactly talking about that, but notice how 322 is very similar to 822. The 3 is almost to 8. One of the things he talks about, like in this section of the video, he copies a video where they break down the value system of the Hebrew language. And he's breaking down the value of the 7, the 8, and the 22. He talks about how the Hebrew language has 22 letters and they're laid in octaves. 7, right? 7, and then 7, and then the last one. So it would be 7, 14, 21, and then the last one at the top means 8. So this would be God, 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 and God in an octave. Like when you have keys on a piano laid out, you have the same 7 notes laid out in an octave. These are the 7 churches in Revelation. These are the 7 chakras. The 7. That's why when Noah got out of the ark, he made a covenant with God, and the covenant was a rainbow, which is red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet, which corresponds with the 7 notes, your 7 chakras, and the first 7 letters, the second 7 letters, the third set of 7 letters. And then this starts over to make it infinity, you see. So he talks about all this in his video. All right, he breaks down the zodiac wheel in a genius way. He breaks down how there's kind of an 8 here that's flowing. This 8 is kind of flowing like this, right, between these 2 signs and these 2 signs. Okay? One thing that I do want to add, and he got it figured out. You know.
Connected into this right here, what I'm showing you. 2020 is the return of the sun, the return of the truth.
Okay? He's right. It is. What he was breaking down was the figure 8.
And that son is fit to have his way with the enemy. And is fit to have his way with his children. Okay?
See the figure 8? So that figure 8 has a significant meaning. I have a couple of videos where I broke down
this is how
I broke down the alchemy of digits. And without watching that whole video again, I did a video called Papa Legba is Jesus Christ. And I'm going to get into a tiny bit of that information tonight. It talks about the 10 digits, which is what these guys were talking about a little bit when they broke down the Hebrew right over here. Right? They broke down the Hebrew a little bit, where they showed you, they said these numbers are based on 7, 8, and 22. Right? 2020 is 22, but really it's also 2020 is also 11 and 11. Because 1 plus 1 is 2 and 1 plus 1 and 2. So that's 11, 11, which we all keep seeing these numbers 11, 11, which represents a singularity, right? And we all keep seeing 9, 11, right? The front of my house is 119, and then they put up another 119 without taking the old one down. So on either side of my house is a 119. You add them up, it's 11, 11. Or the star digit number is 1919. It's an angel number. So anyway, this guy is definitely breaking down that these 2 signs are connected to these 2 signs. right? Virgo and Leo is connected to when Jesus is going to return, Pisces and Aquarius, because Jesus always was talking about a fish. This is the Pisces vesica. The Pisces vesica is this symbol that you see, the rock. You see a lot of people, it's basically a birth canal, which means we're going to give birth to a new age, and the new age is Aquarius, right? They said, Christ, when will you return? You'll return in the age of Aquarius. You'll see, go into a house, these are the houses. Go into the house with the woman holding a pitcher, that's Aquarius, that's when he's going to return, right? But this is the age that mirrors that age. When you see the Virgin with the sun at her feet, and she's going to have the lion over her head, right? That happened. That happened September 23rd, I believe.
The sun is connected with the Aquarius.
September 23rd, I believe, that happened in the sky. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. And he has the yin-yang symbol in the middle, which is very good. That's a 6 and a 9. Okay, it's a 6 and a 9. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So he goes into and attaches it to Kobe Bryant. He talks about how Kobe's death correlates with the coronavirus. We know that Kobe was born in Corona del Mar Cemetery, right? We know that Kobe made sure he took a lot of pictures drinking Coronas before he died. We know that his number was 8. We know that in numerology, 8 and 2 and 4 are very closely related, right? We know that the 4 could be like a 22 or a 2020, right? We know that they create hoaxes. I don't know if it was a hoax or if they really killed his ass. I have no idea. That's neither here nor there. But he was born very close to 822 on 823, right? He broke down, Black Light broke down about how you can take these wheels, break them apart into 4 pieces, and each one of these lines, each one of these lines, because each side of the pyramid is concave right here. You can barely see a faint line going across. So there's 8 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 1, 2, 3 lines that represents these 3 sections, right? You could put them in there. From the sky view, it represents, from the sky, so it represents the wheel, right? What happens is they want us to go around in a wheel of reincarnation over and over, but we can spiral up, okay? I'm going to talk about a couple of those things. I'm going to talk about a couple of these things, all right? He talks about how we're supposed to upgrade in consciousness, but there's a plan. And one thing I appreciate that he did show is he showed the Taurus field, because this is a more accurate representation of our Earth, is this Taurus field, not the other picture that he shows at the end over here. Somewhere he shows like the outer space version of our Earth, which is really way less accurate, right? I forget where. But I also appreciated how he showed, somewhere along here, he showed Akhenaten holding up, I can't find it right now. He showed Akhenaten holding up in getting the rays of the sun, which is something I talk about. I had a video called The Solar Man. I also had a video in my second Exodus where I talk about Akhenaten's connection. So without completely reviewing my information, I want to talk about it a little bit and see where we can. And he broke down how this is the pineal gland. Good job, dude. Really good job. I was really impressed. So I'm going to add a couple of things to it if you don't mind, and not for the sake of argument, but for the sake of conversation. One of the things I want to start with is this book called The Spirit of Zoroastrianism by a guy that I can't pronounce, okay? Pradz Aktor Svarivo. I went over this book in a video that I did called The Second Exodus Ancient Concepts Revisited, okay? Now, it talks about a lot of different things. One of the things it talks about is this symbol that you used at the end here, which was a more accurate symbol of the earth, which is this torus field, right? The torus field, oh, here's the symbol of Akhenaten there. This torus field that you have here is what the earth accurately more looks like. Okay? It's not whatever picture they told us of outer space. Okay?
We're coming back to you right now.
That symbol is very powerful
too.
too.
To stop that is that Donald Trump just started up an operation called Operation Warp Speed.
It talks about the bull was the first thing that they worshipped on Earth. It was the bull.
Donald Trump made it where the vaccines would be fast-tracked. He called it Warp Speed Operation. And you can watch my last video I made to get all the information on that part.
But this torus field that you have right here is represented by the bull Taurus. Get it?
If people ain't talking about this right here, they ain't talking about nothing really. You know, people talking about fighting for your rights and all that. That's cool. But the thing is, we need to know what we're really fighting for. Therefore, the fight will be that much stronger. Okay? We're fighting to be free. We're fighting to receive our enlightenment, which is coming on 8/22, and that enlightenment will teach us how to.
That was it says that in this book that was the first thing that they worshipped. The Avesta contains no explicit description of the making of humans. In the Avesta, the first two living beings, the first man, living but mortal, and the bull are set in place. This is that tourist field that you showed, which is what we're inside of. We're inside of an energy field, right? Other things that it talks about, Mithra being Jesus, you know, this not being a real person. Talks about the dry bones, Ezekiel chapter 37, right? The dry bones that will be, it says in the end times, the dry bones will be made juicy. This is in this book of Zoroastrianism, which goes back over 6,000 years. And it's copied into Ezekiel chapter 37, which is the mystery of the dry bones. It says, "The hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones." Right? So it goes to talk about this valley of dry bones. And this was taken from the Zoroastrian text, which is a lot older, is my point, right? I go into this in great detail in other videos. I'm just going to skim over it now. But it says how the bones will be made to come to life because the people will come out of their grave, right? So there's going to be an eclipse. Two eclipses that are going to mark a spot. X marks the spot, you see? And then X marks the spot on Carbondale, Illinois. The carbon represents melanin, or 666, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. And they're going to cross paths right here in Carbondale, Illinois. One already came, and then the other one is going to come on August, when? August 21st, which is the date that you're talking about. August 21st, 22nd, 23rd, around that time. 8/22. Okay, it's a special date. Now, this place where they cross is in Carbondale. Dale means valley. Okay, if you look it up, that's the root of the word. It's a Gaelic word, or I think that means valley. Right in this place, there's Memphis, Tennessee. Right? The pyramid, as you can see right here, is 322 feet high. That's for a reason. Because that 322, if you type in 322, click on images, it's going to give you skull and bones, because this is the valley of the dry bones. Ezekiel 37. You get it? They knew when they built that damn pyramid on the Mississippi River, which is the Nile of the West, right? Because it says you will be brought into Egypt again in ships, right? If you go to Deuteronomy 28, that's not how you spell Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, and thou shalt see no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. This means our birth certificates are being traded, which is our bond, being traded and speculated against on the stock market. This is why we're slaves. We came here in ships, but no one is buying us, because we're bondmen and bondwomen, stocks and bonds, right? Now, another thing happened on September 23rd, which goes back to this. You see how there's a woman here and a lion on 8/22? You see that? Something happened in the sky based on Revelation 17. So let me look up Revelation 17 real quick. Or it might be 13. I forget. It might be Revelation 12. Yeah, Revelation 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained. Okay? This happened in the sky, in the night sky, on September 23rd, 2017. Revelation 12. This is Leo. This is the woman, Virgo, and she's giving birth to the sun. These are the 12 stars representing the 12 tribes of Israel, or the 12 signs of the zodiac, which is the same thing. And the 13th, which is Jesus, which is the sun. So if Jesus is the son, Christ, right, she's giving birth to Christ consciousness. That goes right back here. Virgo and Leo giving birth to that sun right there, Christ consciousness. So when that happened, that was the end of the 400 years of slavery of the children of Israel. This is what I've been trying to tell people. Okay? You see the rainbow, the covenant? That's the seven chakras, or the 7 colors of the rainbow. The 7 Hebrew letters in 3 rows plus 1, which makes 22. Right? All that. It all ties together. The bones, the skull and bones, Carbondale. So you have first, X marks the spot. The 400 years of slavery ended when this happened. The woman gave birth. It lines up with what you're saying on 8/22. 8/22, if you take it and scratch a little bit off of that 8, it kind of looks like 3/22. Okay, and the other flip side of that, when Jesus comes back on the other side, because everything mirrors each other, okay, is Aquarius. So when the woman is connecting with the 12 tribes, which is represented by the lion, you see how there's 12 stars? The lion of Leo represents the 12 tribes of Israel. She's going to give, because remember, the fish is the vesicle Pisces, remember? The vesicle Pisces. Okay? Let me type in vesicle Pisces, which is the sign of Christianity, is that fish. Right? This is the singularity, right? Or the center of the flower of life. The singularity is what 1111 represents, is a singularity. Let me type in Vesica Pisces Christian, see what happens. See, that fish is the center of the flower of life, which is also the womb or the vagina. And so really when you look at books like these is just a bunch of Vesica Pisces, right? So this means that the woman is giving birth. Who is the woman? The woman is the bride of Christ, which is us, right? And a lot of things are going to happen after this represents the woman, first of all, remembers that she's Israel. That's what the lion represents. Then she gives birth. This is the birth canal. That's what the fish represents. And it's also two fish because it represents that 6-9 in the middle. All right? Which is the yin yang. And I can break all that down. I'm going to break all that down for you. That's the electromagnetic energy. That's how we get our wings to fly into the wilderness, brother. And what are we going to give birth to? We're going to give birth to the age of Aquarius. What is the age of Aquarius? Look at it. It's energy waves. Frequency, a new frequency. That's the waves. That's the water. That's why in Genesis it says the waters were separated from the waters. Okay? You had different frequencies that were separated from each other. Look, I'll show you. These are some of the notes I did from my second Exodus lecture. And it shows how this is the stars. This is where we are down here. So this is a layer and a level of frequency. This is the waters. Waters is an allegory, a metaphor that represents waves, frequency, vibration. And we came down when we left to come down here into a lower frequency. This is 666. We're carbonated, but we're going to be returning to a light body. Okay? You got to watch that video, the second Exodus. Okay? I break it down good. So we're giving birth to new waves of energy. That's what the water waves of Aquarius represent. We're the woman. We remember that we're Israel. Then our birth canal gives birth to a new world of frequency and energy. That's what this is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? That's the end. This is also the 8. That's also this, the 2 fish. Okay? What this represents is electromagnetic energy. Okay? This is how we get our wings. Okay? You notice in mine, I showed Akhenaten just like you did. That's a microcosm of the macrocosm. He was showing you a miniature version of that because everything is in layers. God is like a larger version of the smaller God, which is the sun. Okay? But we're going to get superpowers, brother. And it's based on 1111. Okay? Which is 22. You add them together, you get 22. Or 322 or 822. This is the caduceus. This is the staff of Hermes. This is Moses' staff. This is how we become X-Men and get our superpowers. It's through electromagnetic energy, okay? This is the Ida and the Pingala in your body, these 2 snakes. This staff in the middle is your spine and the top is your head, right? And these are your wings representing your spiritual powers. So it says in Revelation, this woman, Virgo, which is us, in Revelation 13, right? If I go to Revelation 13, no, I'm sorry, it's probably still 12. I probably got to go back to 12. Let's scroll down here. I think it's in 6. It says, the woman fled into the wilderness where she has a place prepared of God that they should feed her 1,260 days. Okay, that's a whole nother code in and of itself. I have to break that down in another video, because it's a time and times and then the dividing of time. Okay, I'll break that down later. But then if you go down to verse 14, it says, and to the woman, what woman? Virgo. The woman who realizes that she's Israel, then she gives birth to a new world of a higher frequency. That woman. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle so that she can fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time and half a time, and times and half a time. That half a time is also called the dividing of time. Okay, what wings is she given? These are the wings that she's given. That's what Moses was trying to foreshadow when he brought the Israelites out of Egypt the first time, and he put this staff down. Right? Moses' staff, and it had 2 serpents on it. It's the caduceus. Okay? It's the same electromagnetic energy, and he was foreshadowing, because everything in the Bible, what happened once will happen again. Okay, so now we're going to leave America a second time. We're going to go into the wilderness. How are we going to go into the wilderness? With our electromagnetic power, we're going to go into a new place, a whole new continent, right? Into her place with 2 great wings, okay? So this is what's going on here. Now, this yin-yang symbol is electromagnetic energy. That's why you got that there, whether you realize it or not. And it's mirrored in this because that's the birth canal that's going to give birth to these new waves. You feel me? The yin-yang represents electromagnetic energy, or the 2 snakes up the caduceus. It also is mirrored in these 2 fish. And that's the birth canal, the Vesica Pisces, and out of that birth canal is going to come the new world. Okay, that's why Jesus said, when everything was about a fish in the Gospels, in the Bible, I am the way, because the way is the birth canal. That's how you give birth to something new, through the way. Okay, so this is just a little bit touching on a little bit of what you were talking about. I go into it in more detail in my videos. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is how you talk about numbers themselves, right? So this information here is something that I brought to life in a video called Alchemy of Digits, and also a video called, what was it called? Jesus is, damn, I just forgot the dude's name. I'm tired. Jesus is Papa Legba. Papa Legba is Jesus. And I was showing that that's the heart chakra is the crossroads, right? Because you got 3 chakras up here, 3 chakras down here, right? That's the crossroads. Once you're down here, you're in emptiness, which is 0. This is the primordial egg, or Ein Sof, and Ein Sof Or. The spark that came out of it would be the serpent or the black man, right? These are the correspondences. You go up to the root chakra. Emptiness is when you haven't even gotten to the root chakra yet. You're just a zombie, right? Then you go to your next chakra. That's when you start to get power. You become less of an animal. You get power on earth. Then the 3rd chakra is your solar plexus. That's the intellect, right? This is Jesus right here, the crossroads. Or Papa Legba at the crossroads, right? That's why when you go to the crossroads to talk to Papa Legba, you have to put down 4 pennies, and it has to be at the crossroads, because the pennies are copper. First of all, copper is a conductor of electricity, so it helps you build an electromagnetic field in the crossroads. Second of all, copper is the color of our skin, because we're the Israelites. It's not going to work with a dime or a nickel or a quarter, right? So then once you go up past the crossroads, which is your heart chakra. That's why you ever seen the picture of Jesus with his heart showing, right? And he's always pointing up. See? And he's got a little cross here on top. This is what the cross means. You already figured that out. You laid the cross on top of the zodiac. And he's pointing up. He's telling you, and the thorns ain't on his head, the thorns are on his heart. Because this is a hard road for you to get through. Most people never do. Then once you get to this 5th level, then you're a prophet, because you get to your throat chakra, then your pineal gland, and now you're an Israelite, right? Because when Jacob wrestled with the angel, the place that he wrestled was the pineal gland. Then you become a saint. Then when you get your crown, you become a king. Now the 8th chakra is when you get infinity and become immortal. Okay? People don't know that there's an 8th chakra. These balls of light that you see floating around here, these orbs of light, that's your chakras. That's your 8th chakra. This is the secret that they're not telling you. These balls of light are your 8th chakra. These things that you see them? These UFOs, these are not man-made. These are your 8th chakra. Okay? That's the prince that wants to kiss Sleeping Beauty to wake her up. You're the bride. That's your God, and that's your soul. Your soul is a tiny piece of the Almighty God that's come down to save you. If this is the Most High, a tiny piece wants to come down to you. That's your 8th chakra. That's why on Pentecost 33, right? Pentecost 33, didn't they get a ball of light on top of their head? And isn't there 33? Isn't there 33 vertebrae in the spine? So when you go up the spine, right? See how they got the lights on top their damn head? See? Pentecost 33. It's an allegory. So when you go up the 33 layers of your spine, the 33 vertebrae, you get to right here. This 8th chakra is going to make you immortal. After the 8th chakra, now when you see, didn't you see a lot of the Egyptians with a ball of light on top of their head? Or sun over the head? I don't know if I can, what keywords to look it up. See if something will come up. Here it is. See, now didn't you see a sun on top of their head? How is that lining up with Pentecost 33, right? But they already knew that 8th chakra was a ball of light, okay? That 8th chakra was a ball of light. And this is 822, okay? It's a science, okay? So if I go to type in my name, type in occult music, see if it comes up. No, it ain't coming up. It always wants to give me adult. And that can be scary because you can get like adult products and stuff like that. But let's see. Let me see if I can go to music. No, not coming up. Here I am. Okay, Akult. I had this one album called Night, and you see how I put the stars over the skull? See how I did that? This is the stars going around in a circle because the Earth is stationary. The stars just rotate around on top of us. This wheel that you have here, the wheel of reincarnation, the stars, it just goes around in a circle. This isn't just for learning purposes on this chart. It's literally happening. The whole picture that NASA has given you about outer space is a goddamn lie. The Earth is stationary. We're in a torus field. The stars are on the ceiling, and they're literally turning like a mobile over a baby's crib. Okay? That's why I put that there, because it all ties in back to what you're saying. All right? And I put the skull representing what? Carbondale. X marks the spot. Okay? Nightlight. This is the dry bones that's going to wake up. Now, I got a lot of songs on here that tell this whole story. I got the second sight. You talked about the second sight in your video, bro. The descending dove. The descending dove is that ball of light that's going to come down, the flame at Pentecost 33. The skeleton march, when the skeletons are going to wake up, right? Ezekiel 37 and the Zoroastrian text, right? The Great Tribulation, which we're in now, the candlesticks, the 8th chakra, right? So this is an instrumental album that tells the whole story. I got the end of time because it says there's going to be a time and times and the dividing of time, right? And the 8th chakra, I made sure I made it 3 minutes and 33 seconds, representing 33 levels of the spine, right? The twinkling of an eye, there's a scripture in 2 Corinthians that says we're all going to be changed instantly. We're going to have a new body in the twinkling of an eye. We're going to be changed, all of us, it says, in the twinkling of an eye. See if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. 2 Corinthians 15. It says, behold, this is our new bodies that we're going to get. Light body. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. That's that song right there, Twinkling of an Eye. So I break it all down. I've been breaking it. Kundalini dance, the highest science in night sky. I've been leaving y'all clues in these albums that I've been making. Okay? So that's when you get to, after you get your 8th chakra, which is that ball of light, right? After you get that, then you get your light body in 2 Corinthians in the twinkling of an eye, heavenly body. So these are the alchemical stages of man based on the 10 digits. Okay? That's what's going on here. Now, there's this movie called The Dark Tower with Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba, and it's based on a Stephen King novel. This is the movie here. I got the movie. Now, there's a little boy that has something. Here's the boy. He has something called the shine. This boy. What the shine means, this boy, is that he's one of the 144,000 saints. What is a saint? A saint is somebody that gets to level 6 and opens up their pineal gland. Okay? And there's people from another earth that come here to hunt these people with the shine and use them to extract their power because they're evil. That's what these child abductions are about. Everybody that I know that is in one of the 144,000, at some point in time, they have been abducted or they almost got abducted. They have been raped, molested as a child, beat up, abused, because you represent this little boy right here. Okay? This guy, Idris Elba, represents one of the angels that's looking out for you to save you from them. Watch the movie The Dark Tower. Buy the DVD, whatever you got to do. Now, it talks about Keystone Earth in this movie, where the Earth that we live in is the Keystone Earth. This guy, Matthew McConaughey, his character, is trying to take over the whole flat plane. Like Jesus said, my Father has many mansions. Not only is he talking about these houses, but what he's talking about is, this represents the stars that spin over top of our head. Like I showed you on my album. Right? The stars that spin over top of our head. And as they spin, you can go around in a circle, or you can reach a certain point where you could spiral up. So you could go around in a circle with them stars, but there's certain gateways that open where instead of going around, you could go up to the next level and spiral, then go up. We're in one of those time periods now, and they know that. Now, let me talk about the Keystone Earth, okay? Because this is something that a lot of people just don't even have any clue about. This is what they're really hiding with the whole flat Earth thing, okay? Now, that Taurus field, which is the bull, which is the first thing that man ever worshipped in the Zoroastrian text, it says, was a bull, right? Which represents the Taurus field. That, there's a lot of them. So if you look at a Masonic checkerboard, a Masonic tracing board, you're always going to see a checkerboard at the bottom at all times, right? You're going to see the pillars of Jachin and Boaz and all that shit. And then you're always going to see the checkerboard at the bottom. Why? It's because each one of these represents Earth. Okay, so it's like a bubble. Each little Earth is a bubble, like this Taurus field that you did. This is a bubble, but look at it in 3 dimensions. See, this is bullshit. That's bullshit. This don't exist. It's a fucking lie. That's why you'll never see a picture of that that's not CGI. If you can find one, I'll give you $1,000. It don't exist. What exists, really, and they all know it, is this shit. The Taurus field.
Which is coming on 8/22, and that enlightenment.
Here it is.
Just gotta live independent.
All right. This Taurus field. Now see how you can spiral up on out. Okay. Now imagine there's one here, one here, one here, all spread out like bubble wrap. Those sheets of bubble wrap. Okay? These bubble wrap sheets. You ever seen these spread out like this? Imagine if each one of these was an Earth. Each one of these was an Earth. Right? Just going on. That's the checkerboard of the Freemasonic. Each one of these is a Taurus field. Okay? Each one of these bubbles is a Taurus field. That's what the checkerboard represents. That's what these checkers are. Okay? So that's what's going on with that. Now, the 6 and the 9 that you brought out, which is the 2 fish, okay, is this yin-yang symbol, and also this represents electromagnetic energy, okay, but it's represented in the nature of our reality with the 6 and the 9, right? Because if you add these up, all right, 666 is how you got into hell, and then 9 is how you get to heaven by going through 666 up the ladder. You add the first 3 digits, it adds up to 6. All right, you add these, it breaks down to 6, and you add 7, 8, and 9, it breaks down to 6. 666. Okay? As you're going through here, you're going through hell to get to heaven. Then you flip upside down. You become the light body man. 2 Corinthians, in a twinkling of an eye, okay? But how you get that, not only do you go up the ladder, but your electromagnetic frequency, because remember, we're in a torus field. So if you want to change the frequency of Earth, see these new frequencies right here? You got to change your frequency. How do you do that? Through the yin and the yang, the electromagnetic energy. This is the staff of Moses. That's why he put that in the first Exodus, because it's a preview of the second Exodus. This is the yin and the yang energy. The electromagnetic is the two serpents. That's how you get your wings. 11:11. All right. Let me give you one little piece of information, and I'm gonna end it real quick for you. This is another magical little notebook. It talks about the yin and the yang energy, the secret to all creation. All right. The yang energy is carried in fire, the fire element. Represents the sun, masculine, the left brain, right? The ka of Kemet. It's responsible for time and space. You breathe it in your right nostril, right? The yin and the yang, the yin energy, you breathe in your left nostril. It's magnetism. It represents nothingness, no time, no space, a singularity. Remember I told you this womb is a singularity. 11:11 is a singularity, right? That's why they try to do that ritual on 9/11, because 9/11, 9 plus 1 plus 1 adds up to 11, right? They had to bring down 3 buildings, just like there's 3 buildings here, okay? So this is the 2 snakes on the staff of Moses, the yin and the yang energy. This is how the woman gets her wings, okay? This is the Merkaba, because you got the Ka energy and the Ba energy. If you look at the Jungle Book, isn't the snake's name Ka? Right? When you look at the word Egypt, it's really not Egypt and it's really not Kemet. Kemet was the name of the land. It was called a black land. Okay? It was called a black land, the black dirt, because it represented the Ba. Right? The female energy, which is black. It's the black of the sky. Okay? The Ka represents the masculine energy. So the real name for Egypt was called Hekupta, which means the house of the Ka of Ptah. I forget how to spell it exactly in English, but it's Hekupta. Hekupta, that might be it. Yeah, Hekupta. Let me go to Google and see if I can look it up. Hekupta. See the word Ptah in there? Hekupta. If you can find it, it means... Here it is, Hekupta, the origin of the word Egypt. Right? Hekupta, it means meaning. See if it says it, because a lot of times they'll just straight up lie. Kemet, Kemet means the land is black, people of the black land. Hekupta means temple of the Ka of Ptah. See? So the house of the Ka and the Ba, we know, is the black land. So this is why they built electro generators on top of a black land, because they were making electromagnetic frequencies. You see? The land was the black, that's the Ba. And then the Ka, who's Ka? Ptah's Ka, which was the Ka, was the buildings that they built on the land. So together that was making a Merkaba. Right? Same thing with Kabbalah. It's Ka and Ba. When you put the Ka and the Ba together, you become Allah. Kabbalah. Right? Same thing with Merkaba. Right? That's your electromagnetic energy. Okay? That's your electromagnetic energy coming together. Same thing with Hukupta. That's the real name of Egypt. It still has the P and the T together from Ptah, Egypt, Hukupta. Right? So the Merkaba is how you get your wings. This is your spaceship. See Merkaba, Drumvelo Melchizedek, he talks about it in these books a lot. It's all connected. It's all tied together, right? Right? See? This is your spaceship. This is how you get your wings. Electromagnetic. This is how, what was it? Revelation 12, right? 14. And the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness. What woman? That other woman that you had on your video, Virgo. I guess I accidentally closed it. My bad. These are the wings, right? That woman. Right? So it all ties together. And not only are you dealing with dates, you're dealing with, more importantly, you're dealing with the science. Because if you don't know the science, you'll miss the date anyway. All right, so I went over a lot. It gets deep. I go into it in depth. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. You're in the beginning stages of uncovering a great mystery that I've uncovered, but I'm trying to explain it to the people in pieces. All right, and so I want to commend you for that. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I want to say a couple more things, and I'm gonna wrap it up here. So, like I was saying, you're on the verge of uncovering a great mystery that they don't want you to figure out. You're even on the verge of uncovering what the Antichrist is. The Antichrist is artificial intelligence. Okay. The mark of the beast is any neurological interface that connects us with this artificial intelligence, right? I broke that down in a video called The Mark of the Beast, Babylon the Great, and the Antichrist. You can find it on YouTube, and you can find it on my Facebook. All right? But it does have to do with robotics. Robots are going to merge with humans, and they're going to build artificial intelligence made in the image of man. That's why it says that the Antichrist will be made in the image of the beast, right? And anything that connects you with the cloud, like you mentioned, and any neurological interface, is not going to be a microchip, right? It's outdated technology. Yeah, don't get the vaccine. Don't get any vaccine, but there's going to be more that develops throughout time, where it's going to become more clear exactly what this technology is. It's not completely developed yet, right? But what was your name again? Light Body? Black Light Spirit. Keith Williams, thanks for recommending this video. Black Light Spirit. My only problem is I know so much. I gotta find out creative and effective ways to transmit the information to the people, and it takes time. You know, so I touched on, this was a brief overview, just real quick, but you're onto something. I wanted to encourage you. I wanted to show you love, and it's exciting to me when people start to figure out things like this, because I've been in this, and I've been alone in this thing for a lot of years. And it's lonely, bro. You know what I mean? It's lonely. So I get excited when I see somebody like, okay, there's somebody, he's starting to see it. You know what I mean? So look into my videos and look into some of the things that I mentioned. And I just wanted to say, keep up the good work, and I appreciate you. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. And I'm gonna keep doing videos. I'm gonna keep making music. I'm writing a new book, and I'm gonna give it all away for free. All my content is gonna be free. So again, this is Akult signing off, and that's it for this one. All right, thanks a lot.